Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 2017. We're getting right down to the end of the course. I'm sure you're not too sad about that. You like to get things wrapped up and move on with semester two. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about what's left for this last unit, and then talk about the exam, or actually the lack of exam for the course. So where are we in this unit? You are learning about civilizations, basically. Things have kind of progressed this way throughout the course. We're at the point where we're really looking at the concept of, where did civilization come from? Why did civilization end up the way that it is? And what could civilization turn out to be? But not looking at it from the point of view of history, looking at it from the point of view of psychology, sociology, and anthropology. So, guns, germs, and steel. Basically, what guns, germs, and steel is about is accounting for how did the world turn out the way that it did. And as a history teacher, because I teach history, it's actually, things didn't have to turn out the way that they did at all. I was astounded when I first started learning history that Europeans were not always powerful, and in fact, at before the Renaissance in the 1500s, well, 14 and 15 and 1600s, before that, Europe was not the most advanced place on earth, and in fact, it was fairly weak compared to the great civilizations in the Middle East, the Ottomans, for example, if you know who they were, and the Far East. China was a center of knowledge and technology and civilization and government that was far more advanced. How did Europeans become so powerful? Well, through guns, germs, and steel, basically. This documentary is about the influence of one society coming in contact with another society, what happens when two societies meet together, which in a lot of cases is one trying to dominate the other one, or one suffering due to the other one. Like, for example, when Europeans first came to North America and South America, I've read some studies where 90% of the people who used to live in this hemisphere just died from disease, because the Europeans brought with them diseases that they were immune to, because hundreds of years of living in towns and cities where you're densely packed together, you share a lot of germs. But people who lived here, they had never been exposed to them. And so something like, for example, strep throat, which gives us a really bad sore throat, it's very painful, could actually kill a person if they had no immunity and no antibiotics to treat it. Nothing to bring down the fever. That fever from strep throat could actually kill a person. So guns, germs, and steel is the assignment. I think that's where a lot of people are. I don't know, maybe a lot of you took the week before the holidays off. But after guns, germs, and steel, the next thing you want to look at is the concept of utopia, and trying to build better civilizations, and the problems that happen when you try to build a better society because of the way that people interact with each other. And there's a really cool simulation that's coming up. I know some of the simulations in this course are hit and miss. There's a really good one coming up, though, where you try to build a utopia, and it's kind of interesting. The thing about trying to build a society with a group of people who have been socialized differently, and people who think for themselves, it's very hard to please everybody. It's very hard to build a society where everybody's going to be happy. Conflict is inevitable, and the question is, how do you deal with those conflicts from the point of view of not just trying to solve a fight between people, but trying to solve a conflict in a way where it's going to have long-lasting effects. Like, you're going to not have that same conflict coming up over and over and over again. Anyways, this unit is going to be a fairly short one, because I don't want to pile on the work ahead of the culminating activity, which is what I want to talk about next. So there's no exam for this course. Instead, the week before exams, which is the week of January the 23rd to 27th, is going to be a week-long project. That project is going to be worth 30% of your final mark. So very important to be ready to get to work on that on the Monday. It is going to take into account knowledge and skills from throughout the course. So you can kind of judge for yourself. What are the things that we've done the most? Chances are that's what I'm going to be testing you on. Obviously your knowledge of the three disciplines of psychology, sociology, and anthropology, but we've done a lot of lab work and we've looked at the idea of trying to limit bias with getting reliable and valid responses from surveys, and looking at numbers and trying to figure out what the results of testing and surveying mean, trying to conclude from evidence. So, and writing, obviously, and using proper, like a proper academic level of language, and using correct style with regards to making your work formatting your work professionally, and using proper citation style. These are all the skills that have come up over and over and over again. And these are the skills you're going to be using for your project. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. It'll be assigned for you over that weekend. I guess the 21st and 22nd is when I'll be posting it. Then you'll have the entire week to work on it, and it'll be due by the end of that week, because that is when the course will come to an end. So everything up until that week is going to be worth 70% of your mark, which if you have got a mark of 72% or higher, that's a level 3 minus, going into the culminating activity, congratulations, you will have mathematically passed the course. But at the same time, it's not as if you would get a 0 on the culminating activity. If you've got a level 3 going in, it's because you've got knowledge and skills, so you should be fine to maintain your average. For those of you who have fallen behind, time is ticking, and so it's really up to you to get caught up. And there's a few people who were working hard over Christmas break and getting assignments turned in, and that's awesome. I'm very happy to see that. I'm happy not for me, but I'm happy for you, because remember, this is your course, this is your credit, this is your future, this is your college experience. All of this stuff is for you. So try your hardest, do your best, and make sure that you ask me for help if and when you need some.